Put in the wrong chat. Hey, everybody. It's Jason. Welcome to the 909 podcast, episode 10. Uh, Justin, if you can believe it, if we actually were consistent with our podcast, we would have done over 100 by now.
Wow, that's depressing.
Yeah. So, anywho, what's more depressing is that we're continuing to do this. But hey, I ain't got nothing better to do on Monday night. So, everybody, welcome to the 909 podcast, episode 10. It's just myself and Justin this week.
What?
And Russ is not here, nor is Mike, nor is Dave. Oh, well, live and learn. This week, I think I'm actually switching it up with my drink. I didn't feel like going to the packy store to get beer, so I'm just going to go with what I've already had in-house. Stuff that is brewed locally. It's crazy vodka. This is the lemon lime flavored. It's 50 proof, and I'm just drinking it straight tonight on the rocks. So, cheers, Justin.
That's
What you got?
that's straight baller right there.
A little bit.
So it's brewed in Connecticut, you said?
It's not brewed. It's bottled in a town called Montville, Connecticut, which is one town over from me. It's where the Mohegan Sun Resort and Casino is located.
Ah,
That nice little casino that you guys visited while you were up here.
yeah,
What about you?
that's
What you
cool.
got tonight?
This week I've actually ventured out into something I just heard of the other day. This is a growler, and it
Oh,
and it's from a store called the Beer Growler. And it's not that I'm new to growlers, but it's more so that growlers are new to Georgia, as well as beers over 6%. So about a year ago, I think they passed legislation that allowed beers over 6% and growlers to be sold in
wow.
Georgia. So, like I said, the store, it's like a chain store. It's just local though. I think there's like six of them just in like Metro Atlanta. It's called the Beer Growler. The one is just like walking distance from my work, and they've
Wonderful.
been open for a year. So kind of kicking myself in the ass for that one for not knowing about it, but
Hmm.
I know about it now. It's my first visit to it today. I was going for a beer that they said they had, but they didn't have. They have over 40 beers on tap. Also, they have some colas, like root beers, and some what are they called? Like an ale, like a woodchuck cider, I guess
Okay.
is the word I'm looking for. So I was looking for this beer called shoot, I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyways, but I ended up going with this beer called Southern Tier, 2 times stout. It's a really dark beer. Um,
Holy shit. That's like Guinness levels.
that's actually funny you say that because it's a Guinness,
Oh, look at that. I'm funny
but
too.
it's not Guinness. It's by a company called Southern Tier, and it's in New York. And apparently, the story is like the southern part of New York that kind of branches out. It's called the Southern Tier, and they named
Okay.
themselves Southern Tier Brewing, and it's 2X stout. It's really freaking good.
Nice.
So,
It's interesting that you mentioned the fact that there's a package store right down the road from where you work, because right across the street from where I work, we've been watching this place go into development for weeks now, and it just opened last week. It's this place in New London, Connecticut called State Street Saloon that just opened up. It's actually owned by a bar local to me that I frequent at least once a week for trivia night. Whereas the one that I normally go to for trivia is more of a pub. This is called the State Street Saloon, and they did a very good job of making it a Western, old-timey Western bar.
oh,
Um,
nice.
it's pretty much everything's made of wood in there. All the bartenders are wearing corsets. Not even
Oh,
kidding. It is,
that's
oh, it's great. And
that's sweet.
they have this massive like wagon, like Oregon Trail style wagon hanging from the ceiling. But it looks great. So anywho, um, so
And I
if
like they're building an Aldi next to me, and I thought that was cool. So you just like
for
totally beat
decades.
that.
We have a lot to talk about this week. It's going to be mainly a sports-oriented podcast with a little bit of movie news, with a little dash of a story that when I saw it, I really could not believe it. I want to talk about the one thing that, at least in this area, as I've mentioned before, New England, one thing that has really made me kind of happy. Living in this area, being a Baltimore Ravens fan, the number one thing I constantly hear from these Pats fans, whenever I talk about the Ravens, is like, Oh yeah, that murderer helped you guys win 2 Super Bowls. They're of course talking about Ray Lewis. Never convicted. We're not getting into that. Uh, Aaron Hernandez of the New England Patriots is in some deep shit right now. Have you heard about this?
Nope.
Oh, Aaron Hernandez is maybe tight end, I think. And basically, he was with somebody last weekend, I want to say, or Monday night. And, uh, well, he, the guy that he was with was murdered an hour from when he was last seen, which was with Aaron Hernandez. At Hernandez's home, the video surveillance cameras were destroyed, and his attorney handed over Hernandez's cell phone to authorities literally in pieces. So
Wow.
they at least have warrant. They're waiting to issue warrants for obstruction of justice. At least that much. But there's definitely going to be some murder charges, possibly against him or 2 of his boys that were also being questioned. The big holdup right now is I guess they're waiting for people to break, like somebody to turn on the other two. But it just makes me kind of, murder's wrong, murder's awful. But as a sports fan, hearing that from these fuckers for the past 6, 7 years, now for them to have a murderer on their team really just makes,
Well,
yeah.
he's no longer on the team, so you don't have to
Well,
worry about him
that was the other thing.
being associated with, I guess.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks.
Well, Hernandez tried to go to camp, like training camp, and they were like, "Yeah, no, you're not. None of the coaches are here. You can't be here." And he's just like, "Well, I played for the team." It's like, we'll get in touch with you. So he's most likely going to get cut by the Pats. Also, if you see me looking away every now and again, it Game 6 between the Bruins and the Blackhawks is on right now. The Blackhawks can win tonight, which
You
again
like
would make me happy.
so you like Blackhawks, you would say?
I'm not answering that question.
Okay.
Oh, you mean it? Oh, see, if you say Blackhawks fast enough, it sounds like something else.
That's what I was
So
getting
that's what I
at.
thought you were going
But
for.
it was.
Okay, cool. So you wanted to talk about, speaking of football, didn't you want to talk about some football stuff?
Yeah, well, see, I got an email on. Let me pull it up here. It's not really important when I got the email, but I'm going to pull it up now because I'm already like halfway into it. June 18th. So the same day that Hernandez
Did that
was
shit.
searched by police, actually. So yeah, it's the fantasy football from Yahoo. So I'm just a moderate football fan.
As
To
am
me,
I.
it seems like a little bit early to start doing fantasy football, but nonetheless, the season is coming around, and hopefully we can have a league. I know Mike will probably play. I don't know if Russ likes NFL, but anyway, it'd be fun if we could all pitch in and play. Maybe we could get like 5 or 6 of us. I think Dave is like a sports fan now, so
Dave, that was one of the weirdest turnarounds I've ever seen on somebody. Dave went from knowing nothing about
oh, he
sports
hated,
to
yeah.
last year just bandwagoning on everything. It was pretty funny. From like we only really got this through Twitter. Like we would see his Twitter updates about football
Right.
and basketball, and it was absolutely hilarious. But if you're interested in participating in the, I guess it would be first annual 909.net Fantasy Football League, leave a comment on the blog post of this podcast, um, and I guess just leave your email, and we'll get in touch with you. I guess
Yeah, I've never like managed a league, but I'm pretty sure Mike has, and I'll check with him to see if he's like up for it because I know there can be like some pretty heavy settings that like leverage on the league owner or whatever. So
yeah,
if
I know
we're
some
a little
people.
bit early, we'll get it started pretty soon. There'll be a blog post or something about it on how to join and all that kind of stuff. So just stay tuned for that. Just know football season's coming. That was the main thing. I'm more excited for college football, but college fantasy football seems stupid. So it may be fun. I've never played it, but college fantasy football seems stupid. If it's seems like fun, we might start one of those too. But I'm more so was talking about NFL. There's just too many college football teams to do that, I think.
My
So
brother one year did fantasy NASCAR with a friend for shits and giggles. They followed it for about 3 weeks. They didn't even really follow it. They would just like pick drivers and put them in, and then like watch Sports Center the day after a race or some shit like that.
That's kind of funny. That actually makes more sense than some of the fantasies, but to each his own, I guess,
You know,
right?
I just remembered what I really wanted to do this week. My brother actually just got back from Bonnaroo. Um, he had gotten back when we did the last podcast, but he didn't come home because he was staying at a buddy's house for a little bit. He didn't come home till middle of last week. And for those of you who don't know, Bonnaroo is a huge 4-day music festival down in Nashville, Tennessee, where basically you roll up, you camp out for 4 days. If you want to shower, it costs $7. But my brother was there, and he was telling me stories. He saw Wu-Tang Clan. He saw R. Kelly. He saw Bjork. He saw
Pretty
Paul
much,
McCartney.
pretty much the lineup every year is insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's never weak.
He actually said Macklemore. He became a fan of Macklemore at this thing because everybody knows Thrift Shop, but he went there at the stage that Macklemore was on because the person on after Macklemore, my brother really wanted to see. So he got there early so he could get up front. And he says after that show, not only is Macklemore funny as shit, but he is an incredible showman.
Is
So
that the
Thrift Shop. I'm going to pop some
pop
tags.
some tags?
Yeah, there you go.
Didn't
If you're
connect the
hanging out with your bros at
dots.
the gym, you say, "Do you even lift?" If you're watching the Fast and the Furious or drag racing, it's, "Do you even drift?" And if you're listening to Macklemore's Thrift Shop, it's, "Do you even thrift?" So
Ah,
there
okay.
you go. Um,
That's a little
it
tidbit of information for today.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're in with the hip young crowd now, Justin.
I'm getting
Um,
old.
in other news that I sure shit don't give a shit about, in fact, I'm actually kind of disappointed by this news. Heat repeated their championship run. They beat the Spurs in Game 7 by a score of something to something, and LeBron won MVP again. And I just hate that that happened. I don't even like basketball, but I just don't like LeBron. But I am happy because now SportsCenter won't cover basketball for another couple months, so that makes me happy.
I kind of like. I mean, I'm not. I'm just like you with with basketball. Like I don't really care for it, but LeBron James is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't really care, but it's like I don't know. He's
Yeah.
good, so why not like him? But I don't like him either. I mean, I don't like basketball, so I don't like him. So
Well, let's pick up some news on two very big movie headlines that I actually want to
we,
talk about this week.
maybe we should talk about. Okay, that's fine. We'll talk about it after.
Okay. First things first is that two things have happened with, well, three things have happened, two of which with one sequel, one of which with another sequel. First, we'll get to the ones that we're not, the one thing that we're not going to, that you and I are not going to be as excited about as the other thing. First things first, Independence Day 2 has been announced to go into production, and will probably be released in 2015. On top of that, they said that Will Smith will not be returning. They said that he's too expensive, and they just, his name is too big now. So, Will Smith will not be back, which is a shame because I really did like him in the first one. But
Yeah, he made. I mean, he made the first movie,
that
so
was his breakout role, I
yeah.
would say. I like
It's kind of shitty.
from TV to movies.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty that he wouldn't come back, but
Well, you know who is coming back for some sequels? Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels are both on
yes,
board for Dumb and Dumber 2. And by the way, funny thing, Dumb and Dumber 2, the 2 in Dumb and Dumber 2 is spelled just T-O. So,
right.
originally,
That may still be a working title, but as of now, you are correct.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be confirmed because I can't imagine, like, that is just perfect. Oh, by the way, Boston has scored. Damn it. So basically, Warner Brothers had the rights, and about 2 weeks ago, they relinquished their ownership of the rights. It's picked up at Universal, and the Farrelly brothers,
Yes, Farley
have
Brothers.
announced that they will be making Dumb and Dumber 2, and I know this makes you extremely happy.
Well, yeah, it does because this has actually been going back and forth for a better part of a year now. The Farley brothers already had the script written out; they had everything ready to go, and I think Jeff Daniels was on board, and Jim Carrey was just like, eh,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like it was at that point, like that was all that was heard. I think it was on like IMDb and everything. That was just like, it's done. They're not even going to try to make it if Jim Carrey's not going to join. Well, probably like 4 to 6 months ago, Jim Carrey was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So, let's see, when is it going to be released? Does it say? You know?
2014 is the goal. Summer of next year. So we're looking about 1 year between now and the release of Dumb and Dumber 2, which, I mean, seriously, we quote Dumb and Dumber 1 all the time. Primarily
Oh,
big
word.
gulps.
Huh?
Big gulps, huh?
Right.
We did that shit a lot during 909 week. Just an all around solid comedy. Um, Jeff Daniels come out and said, I believe his exact words were, the new script for Dumb and Number Two is really shitty and hilarious or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I bet. The Farley brothers are awesome. I can't think off the top of my head of what else they've done, but
There's
if you look
something
it
about
up,
Mary.
yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Yeah. So
Another
that
movie I'm excited about actually it comes out this November, and I wasn't until my girlfriend like made me watch the first one, and it's Twilight. No, I'm just kidding. It's The Hunger Games. So
um,
that comes out in November, I think.
here's one thing. I've I'm going to say I'm a huge fan, but I really do like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies from back in the day, um, where they just commentate on really bad movies. Well, there's something called Riff Tracks. It's
Oh yeah.
rifftrax.com. You can download audio files. I think it's $3 for the file, and you sync it up with a movie. And basically, it's like Mystery Science Theater, except you kind of have to do it yourself. But it's really funny. I've watched three of them. Uh, there was Twilight, the first one, which I was in stitches watching that one. The problem is you have to remember that if you watch these movies, you're going to actually end up watching the movies that they make fun of. So you got to keep that in mind. So I've seen the Twilight one. I watched that one with a chick, though, I swear. So it was I kind of like
Hmm.
balanced it out that way. I did watch the Hunger Games one, which was equally hilarious. And there was the Cloverfield uh, riff tracks, which Cloverfield I really like. It's one of three movies I've seen in theaters twice. Well, four. I guess I went and saw the re-release of The Lion King in 3D, and that was the very first movie I ever saw in theaters. So, so yeah, check that out, Riff Tracks. We'll link it in the show notes or YouTube description, wherever you're watching this. So, there you
Cool.
go. You said there was something you want to get to after
Oh yeah, we
movie?
kind of hit on what we were talking about before that, and it made me think of. I don't think we've talked about the Xbox 180 that they pulled.
Yes, I did read about
It's
this.
kind of probably really old news by now, but basically Microsoft did a complete 180 on the way they were going, like with all the DRM and stuff like that. So you can read a lot more about that than I'd care to get into. But it's exciting because I was probably going to buy a PS4 anyways, and I still probably am. But this will make it a little bit more competitive for both. This could be like the two biggest launches of consoles in history. So a lot of hype being built up about all of them. Overall, like as far as hardware goes and exclusives, PS4 has better hardware, more exclusives. Um, it's just going to boil down to what you like. If you like Halo and stuff, obviously you're going to have to stick with Xbox. But given the fact that I think Bungie sold out, I don't even think they make Halo anymore, right?
No, 343 Industries, I believe, is the
So
company that makes
it's
Halo
really not even
now.
the same game anymore. So that
Oh,
kind of sucks. But again, I'm still pushing for the PS4. Xbox One will still be exciting, though.
I mean, it. It's really hard for me to want to jump ship and just go to Sony's PS4. I know a lot of my friends that I game with on Xbox have already said that they're going to switch, and I say a lot. I mean, I know of two. So, I mean, they said that they were going to switch, and if they do, that's fine. I'm not even really using my Xbox to game anymore. There's not really anything out there. Everything's just the same, which is why I was really impressed with um, their E3 press conference. I did like the titles I saw. I'm still really, really, really looking forward to. I know this might sound weird to say, Mirror's Edge 2. The first Mirror's Edge I thought was done spectacularly. Granted, like yes, there were points where it was kind of like a parkour game, so if you didn't hit it just right, you died. But visually, the game was stunning. The first-person perspective was spot on with running, the way it kind of moved, but it didn't jostle too much. You felt like you were part of the game running. It wasn't like Halo, where the screen just stays steady and you're moving faster, or Call of Duty or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But that'll be on both systems, so we'll really have to see what it comes down to, you know.
Yeah,
But you're
exactly.
right. I saw one thing where it says, like, you know, did you hear Xbox? Um, did you hear Xbox changed the fact that they're not going to make it so that you can have DRM, and then it's the Caruso thing where it's just like sounds like Microsoft did a 180.
Yeah, no, they exactly they did, and um, I honestly think that it was part of their plan all along.
um, I think what really it boils down to is they realized they made a mistake, and they were like, "Shit, we got to fix this now." You know, it's
Well,
kind of like,
I kind of think that they had a backup plan. So, they said, all right, all this like, if everybody would have went with the flow with all the DRM stuff, it would have been great for them. But it's also great for them because it built up all this hype, and because let's face it, all the kids and stuff that play have an Xbox now, like by kids I mean probably like 16 and under, still live with their parents, still depend on their parents.
yeah.
Their parents are still going to buy them an Xbox.
Oh no, you'll maybe get it for your birthday next year. You know, I
No, rich kids will get it for their Christmas this year.
probably. I'm kind of sort of
So,
saving up. I'd like to be there on midnight, and I'd like to be able to take that, you know, week off. I'll admit to kind of, you know, play with it and have a good time. But we'll see what happens. I haven't reserved one yet. Um, I'd
shouldn't be
like to be able
necessary.
to build up enough savings so that I won't have to worry about it. But I might just deal with it and then kind of make it credit card ish because I
Well,
don't
if
have
you
a credit
started
card.
right
I,
now,
I
it's
use
what?
my savings account as a credit card kind of like I just rebuild. I pay that back over time. So
But if you started now, what would it be like? $40 a week, maybe $30 a
oh
week?
no, I'm doing like 100 to 200 bucks a paycheck, so every 2 weeks. So it's about 100 bucks
So
a
it's like
week.
$50 a week.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
well,
could
in
even
between
yeah.
50 and
Oh yeah, I get paid
well, the
every two
thing's only
weeks.
six $500, so
Yeah, but with launch day titles, and who knows when next gen consoles came out, like the Xbox and the PS3, Xbox 360 and PS3, for whatever reason they thought, man, fuck it, we'll move the price for new games from 50 to 60 bucks.
oh yeah, that is true.
Are they going to now do that again with these titles? I can't imagine why they wouldn't. To be honest, I'm expecting them to come out as like new games are going to cost $75.
Well, that's the thing, especially if they're $70. Like I wouldn't buy either one
I
of
think
them.
you're really pushing it.